Don't let people say that you can't do it, because you can. If you put your mind to it, you're able to do it, because there is help. There are people out there like Bamboo Sport, like yourself, Ruth, who are willing to work with us and help us to get our book out there.
What if writing a book is not just a way to transform the lives of many people, but also a way to create financial freedom and leave a legacy? Wouldn't you want to find out just how to do that? Well, that's what this show is all about.
Hi, I'm Henika Watkins, Porter, speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, and the host of the Entrepreneurial You podcast, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by C. Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Tune in for inspiration, information, and innovation to write and win with books. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
Greetings, Authorpreneurs. It's episode 152 of the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Ruth Taylor, and this is the program where we give you the roadmap to win with books beyond book sales and dominate entrepreneurship. Coming up in today's show, we are kickstarting a month looking at romance novels and featuring our Caribbean romance writers. And today we're going to have an inspirational interview with author Vivi Willie about her new book, I Feel Like Leah, Second Place is Not Enough. This is a sweet contemporary romance, and you're going to be hearing more about her later. All right, so a lot is happening. As I told you, the podcast is back, and we are doing a number of things that are different. So normally you're not used to fiction being featured and even romance. But we want to show too that it's not just nonfiction books that can be leveraged as a platform for transformation or building a legacy or creating financial freedom. Because ultimately, we want to raise up these entrepreneurs, and we're here to teach you how to do that using the book, Authorpreneur Secrets, which I want to go and encourage you to get, whether the ebook, the paperback, or the hardcover. That's your guide. And one of the things that I have done to help you on your entrepreneur journey, you cannot become an authorpreneur without being an author. And so I've created this free masterclass that teaches you how to write a book fast, how to write that book in 24 hours or 30 days. And so go to authorpreneursecrets.com and sign up for the free masterclass. It's called the Rocket Writing Masterclass. You're going to get the free ebook, the Rocket Writer in there, both the ebook and the audiobook. You're going to get an introduction to entrepreneurship and 15 different ways that you can leverage the book. And so that is going to give you the inspiration. So go get that. All right. In terms of my own entrepreneurship ventures, I'm doing a lot. So during the break, I did quite a bit. So I created that masterclass, which I'm inviting you to go get. But I'm also equipping more of you to become authors. So this month is all about preparing for November. November is NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, where there's this global move to write a novel, 50,000 words in a whole month. For me, it's the idea to book or the Rocket Writing Challenge in 30 days as well, 10,000 to 30,000 words. And so we're using the month of October to encourage you to do that. And on Thursday, I did a teaching. That's Thursday, October 3, when I recorded this. I did a teaching on 12 book creation ideas. That's on the YouTube channel, inviting you to go and subscribe. So I did a teaching in Authorpreneur Secrets Live on 12 book creation ideas. And that's coming from The Rocket Writer. And so you want to go check that out. So I am preparing you to take on that challenge in November. The winner of that challenge is going to get, drum roll, the winner of that challenge is going to get the usual. You're going to get a structural edit free. So, if that is a 30,000 word book that you wrote, that's a prize of over 300 US dollars. You're going to get a publishing consultation from me. And if you choose to register and publish through the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, every year we have the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group where we take on the challenge. I guide, along with my coaches in training, we guide you to publish a book for less than, a small book for less than 1,000 US dollars. It's $99 per month, 3 to 6 months. And we show you how to do that. The winner of the Rocket Writing Challenge for 2024 is going to get 3 months free. So if your manuscript is clean and short, you could publish it within the 3 months, 90 days, and you would have saved, that's $99 times 3. So you would have saved, what is that? That's going to be, instead of $300, that's $297. So the prizes this year, as they say in Jamaica, ton up. You're looking at over 500 US dollars worth of prizes. And yes, it's only one prize. The second place and third place, you are going to just get your certificate. In NaNoWriMo, it's just a certificate you get, and you boast that you won. It's just a chance to encourage us as a community to end the year strong with a book, because a book can be the perfect reinvention tool that you need to make the new year greater and better, right? And so end it with a book. I'm going to be using that challenge as well to finish a book that I've been working on. So it's the second book in the Untold Stories book series. And I am going to be working on that book and finishing it. So the challenge in November is not just for those who are starting a book from scratch. Maybe you had the book set aside, you started writing, and you're looking for community support to finish. So I want to invite you to join the Indie Authorpreneurs Facebook group. I'll put the link in the show notes to get the support. During the challenge, each week, I'm going to be having a writing sprint in the virtual Rocket Writing Studio for 30 minutes, just together to see how we can write, to just, encourage and push. And sometimes on this challenge, I write not only one book, but 2 books, or I finish up a book. It was on the challenge last year that I did the revision of this book, Authorpreneur Secrets. After 5 years, I revised it. And it's the challenge last year that helped me to do that. So go get the course and sign up for that. So that's one of many things. So on our next episode, I'm going to be telling you about the other authorpreneurship ventures that I am embarking on. So that's it in terms of my authorpreneurship ventures.
Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today.
All right. Now to our next segment. This is our newest segment where I want to promote the Alliance of Independent Authors. So this is a global body for independent authors or self-published authors. It's a community. They promote ethics and excellence in self-publishing. They have courses, they have guidebooks. And if you want to learn about licensing rights and different things, any questions you have on your self-publishing journey, ALLi is there to support it. And they have a podcast, the ALLi podcast. They do inspirational interviews. They give you news, what's happening around the world. They give you marketing advice and tips. But what I want to share about ALLi this week is that they're having their annual conference is coming up, and I'm going to bring that up so that you can see it. That's the self-publishing conference. And this year they're focusing on publishing for profit, which sounds like entrepreneurship, right? It's right up my stream. So let me show you. And the conference is free. All right. So it is free. So register for your free 3-day pass below. So you go to selfpublishingadviceconference.com. I'll put the link in the show notes. Register for your free 3-day pass below. And they've had some amazing speakers in the past, mostly from North America, Europe. You know, ALLi started at the London Book Festival in Europe with Orna Ross. That's in the UK. And so they've had, like, you know, my favorite person, Joanna Penn, on there. And yeah, it's going to be 24 sessions over 24 hours. Self-Publishing Advice Conference 2024. Go to selfpublishingadviceconference.com to register. It's going to be the 19th and 20th of October 2024. So sign up for the 3 free-day conference. So it's 3 days. So without further ado, let's get into the interview with author Vivi Willie about her latest romance novel, I Feel Like Leah, Second Place is Not Enough.
Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today.
Today I have with me Vivi Willie, author and social worker. She supports individuals with disabilities and mental illnesses. She's married with 4 children, and she values faith, family, and community. Inspired by Leah's biblical story, she wrote, I Feel Like Leah, Second Place is Not Enough, to offer hope to those experiencing marital troubles. And this book was recently released in August 2024. Welcome to the show, Vivi Willie.
Thank you so much, Ruth.
It's good to have you. Thank you for choosing Bamboo Sparks to publish your novel. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, very often it's from a nonfiction perspective, how we can market and monetize those books and turn them into multiple income streams.
Yes.
And as we resume the podcast, we're taking a different turn, looking at romance authors. I became a romance author, sweet contemporary romance. I wrote my novella in February of this year. And mine is Carissa's Second Chance. And even in the Bible, we have Songs of Solomon. We have a sweet romance in the story of Ruth. And then the story that you've told is not necessarily a sweet romance. When we look at Jacob and Leah, his first wife, given that he wasn't in love with Leah. And so I believe that's the inspiration behind that. I Feel Like Leah, Second Place is Not Enough. So I'm anxious to get into the story. But before we do, let's talk about you and your Caribbean heritage. Where in the Caribbean are you from?
I am from Hanover, a little town called Hopewell. So I was born there, and I lived there until I was 16. And after that, then I migrated to the US.
So that's Hopewell, Hanover in Jamaica.
Yes.
Okay, cool. What are some of your fondest memories of living in Hopewell before you migrated?
Being outdoor, I love being outdoors and just I used to love climbing trees. So I was like a tomboy when I lived in Jamaica. So that was fun going to the beach with my mom. And also my dad did fishing at night. And so, just enjoying fish, roasted fish, and listening to music because he was also a musician. So listening to him playing his banjo and singing. So
Wow.
I enjoy those things.
So it sounds like all of this kind of blend into the novel. You guys will have to read it. But hearing you talk about your upbringing in Hanover and the things you love, some of these are actually reflected in the novel, I Feel Like Leah. So talk to us now about your author journey. What inspired you to become an author? And tell us a little bit about that before we get into this juicy novel.
I love storytelling, and I believe in church they were always talking about stories and telling stories to while we were in our, the children part of the ministry. So just listening to the stories, I grew up loving to write, and I do remember when I was going to Kingsborough Community College in New York, my girlfriend said, "Your writing is so deep," that I would really go deep into my writing whenever I'm writing. So also I do remember when I went to LaSalle University, I did a literature class. I was missing one credit. And so my counselor said, "Why don't you take a literature class?" And so at the end of the semester, the professor said, we can write a poem or we can summarize the book. So I decided to write a poem. And it was like Under the Willow Tree. And he said, "This is very good. You know that you can sell it online." And I believe from there, I started writing poems. I did not do anything with them. I just wrote a lot of poems and I have them in books right now. So I believe that started the journey of me writing.
Wow, we want to give God thanks for our teachers who,
Yes.
can identify that. So it sounds like you have some poetry books coming out in the future. So, did you write something before
Yes,
this
that was
romance novel?
my first, it was a poetry book. Um, it's called My Head Is Not Well.
Ah,
Yes, so it's me talking to a doctor about things I've been through in the past and how it affected my life.
wow. So
Mhm.
that's connected. So your teacher told you, your professor told you that this could be published online, and you took his advice and
Yes.
turned your poetry into a book. Now, before you get into the story behind I Feel Like Leah, I used to read novels in high school, 2, 3 novels
Mhm.
a week. And I loved action stories too, Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, but I used to read Mills and Boons and those Silhouette and those kinds of novels. And one of the things I know is that when you get serious about your faith, sometimes you'll hear from the pulpit or otherwise trashy romance and
Yes.
like you're not supposed to read those kind of books. I think perhaps that happened to me. So for a whole 20-year period, I stopped reading novels. And how do you balance faith with writing romance? What's the connection? How do you get beyond that? Because it's not just the faith community that sometimes trashes novels and romance novels, but sometimes the entire author community, they talk about sleazy novels, trashy novels, and authors who write romance novels tend to be put down, even though it's a top-selling genre, right? So how do you navigate that?
I think I eliminate certain things. I think it's certain things that they're looking at that will say it's not appropriate. So I just eliminate, certain words. Yeah, that would be offensive to one group, but still try to fit it in so it would be okay for everyone to read. Someone, say 18, 17, someone who is ready for marriage can read it. because I myself also read quite a bit of Harlequin novels. I used to love reading them over and over. Yeah. So I know what to put in and what not to put in so that I won't offend my church brothers and sisters. And I thought about that when I was writing I Feel Like Leah.
So you can write sweet romance, because I believe God is the author of romance. So he's not anti-romance, not anti-relationship, and it's not erotica you're writing.
Right.
So there is a place for it.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, you are writing that which you have read and liked, and that's often a tip for authors, aspiring authors. We tend to write the things that we have read similar to that, or some person said they've not seen something that they wish was written, and so they decide to write in that genre. Talk to us about I Feel Like Leah, what that book is about in terms of your spin on it, and what you would want us to get from it.
Yeah, so the story about Jacob and his two wives, that is my favorite story in the Bible. I would just read it over and over. And I felt so bad for Leah because I am married and I'm saying, you know, if my husband was not paying attention to me, was not hugging me, kissing me, and showing me affection, how would I feel? How would I feel like, when our son went out and found a mandrake and, Rachel said, give it to me, and my husband will come into you. It's also her husband. So it feels like she, was not getting any attention at all from her husband. So I really felt bad and decided, okay, I'm going to focus and write this book and Leah showing what it feels like to not have affection and love and what it is we can do to prevent that. So steps we can do to prevent it. And if you are already in the relationship, what will you do? How will you move forward?
Examining that, and in the biblical story, Leah, Jacob was never in love with Leah.
Right.
He, those arranged cultures, he fell in love at first sight with Rachel.
Yes.
And so you are carrying us on this journey. So I want to take a look at your author page and seeing some of the highlights. So even though it's I Feel Like Leah and it's inspired by the biblical account of Jacob and Leah, your character doesn't have Leah in there. So this is the book on Amazon. I Feel Like Leah, second place is not enough. It's a very intriguing and beautiful cover. And when we look at your A+ content, we are seeing, like here, the main character is Anamar. Will Anamar ever feel herself, or will she forever remain in the shadow of another? And romance novels we expect them to have a happy ending. So I hope there's a happy ending, and perhaps there is. We see some disappointment because in your content here it says, I thought lovemaking would be different. It was in, out, and done.
Yes.
So it seems as if Anamar wasn't having sensing any love in that area. But then we have here that Morris, who is the other main character, the protagonist. I will be faithful to you and will not allow anyone to break the bond that binds us together. And so I find it intriguing. And then here you said, who said fighting for a marriage was easy? And so what's the big message you want people to leave with from reading this story, considering that they say now 50% of marriages end up in divorce? What's your message for someone who is in feeling unloved in a marriage, that they're not feeling loved? Is there hope? Should they get out?
That it depends, because I believe that there is hope. Yes, so it depends, and where they are in the relationship. There is counseling. And that's something that I stress in the book, that there's counseling, talking, finding someone, a friend to talk to about it. Don't just bottle it up inside and keep it inside. Because stress and all of that, can find ways to really hurt us. So going to counseling, talking to a friend, and there are meetings that one can attend to help with what is going on, to get just different opinion and things. And also just talking to your spouse, whether it's a male or a female, just talking to that person to see how we can work on things. Are they willing to work it out?
I agree. And I know with romance, persons who write romance, if it's just straight fiction, they tend to write more than one books. It's not exactly like how we market nonfiction books. But given the theme of this, I can't help but feel that you can have that nonfiction-like component to it where you do content marketing. Are you planning to have maybe seminars, incorporate this book into seminars, workshops, conferences? You are a social worker.
So I am planning to attend, like, I love going to women's meeting. And so I'm planning to go to women's meeting and, have a discussion, and also then trying to teach people about how they can move forward, how they can, find that person where they can each share affection, not just one person giving and the other is not giving. So just going to meetings like that. And also at my church, they have programs there. So I also want to, talk to people also about that at my church. And also, I'm just thinking about even bringing people or having something, a gathering at my home. Yes, to bring people together, have a light lunch or something, and then talk about, my book and, what women are facing. Because I remember when I was writing this book, I look back and I said, who do I know who have been through something like that? And then this person came, a Princess Diana. And I said, she lived that life. She was the one that, did not have that passion, that love. She went through depression and all of that. And, look at what happened. And that person was there before, just like I wrote in my book. Yeah. And how it ended. So we should not have to live our lives without affection and love. Okay.
I like the trajectory of your thinking and how we can encourage, even romance writers to go beyond just selling the book, which is what this show is about, winning beyond book sales. It's about books being used as a platform for transformation, building legacies, and creating financial freedom. I'm just excited for you because I can see you having these gatherings with these young people, with women and men, because you've been married a long time as well. So even your husband could come and sharing in this discussion and helping people with relationships and helping. Anamar is young in the book, so helping young people to understand the dynamics of relationships. And especially if you grew up in church, sometimes certain discussions are not held. So this book could be a platform to help young people to prepare for marriage, and those having marital challenges to have somebody to talk to enrich their life. And so I would encourage those of you who are listening that if you have a marriage ministry, anything to do with relationships, get the book, I Feel Like Leah, and invite Vivi Willie to come and share. So what advice would you give to an upcoming romance novelist or somebody like me who tiptoed into it and wrote a novella? Top 3 things perhaps you would want to say to encourage us, Christians especially, who are thinking of writing a romance novel?
The first thing I would say is, some people say, no, you need a lot of training. You have to go to school for it. And I would say, no, if you love writing, then go ahead and write. And, don't let people say that you can't do it, because you can. If you put your mind to it, you're able to do it, because there is help. There are people out there like Bamboo Spark, like yourself, Ruth, who are willing to work with us and help us to get our book out there. So that's one thing that I would encourage them, to do, to keep reading also. I was told to keep reading other people's novels, keep reading. And, there's a lot of editing that goes into it, sending it back and forth, and just go with the process, because it's a learning process. I learned a lot while writing this. I had to do some rewriting, but it was good for me. Now that I'm working on another book, I go back and I look at some of the things that I learned, and I'm putting them to good use. Yes, so just go ahead, don't give up. Yes, keep trying.
Well said. So there you have it, folks. So I think those are some golden tips, and want to encourage you, if you want to be inspired, go get the book. I love the cover. I love the page. It's on Amazon, and you can go and get it. It's in hardcover, ebook, and paperback formats. Just before we close the interview, for those who want to get in touch with you, how can they contact you?
It's VIVILEAH63@gmail.com.
And also go to her author page at bamboosparks.com/Vivi Willie. All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Willie. It has been a pleasure.
And thank you so much, Ruth, for all your support and your help. And
You're
Bamboo
most
Spark.
welcome. You're most welcome. I trust that you enjoyed listening to that interview and you feel inspired, and that you see that it's not just nonfiction books that can be used as a platform for entrepreneurship, but even a novel. You can leverage that as a platform for transformation. You can build legacy with that, and you can do content creation and speaking and seminars and other things with it beyond book sales, so that you can create financial freedom faster. Remember, go to bamboosparks.com/Vivi Willie if you intend to contact her to do a presentation on the subject of feeling unloved in a marriage, how to survive that, or you just want to get the book. Go there or go on Amazon to get it. Now, as we close out, remember, of making many books, there is no end. So go pen it to win it and dominate entrepreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.